Let's get Blake into his first experience of agree or disagree.
Let's go. Are you ready for this, bro?
Yes.
You know this works?
Yeah.
Thumbs up, you agree. Thumbs down, you disagree.
Yep.
If you don't know, you pick anyway.
All right, guys, we're gonna go on with a spicy one.
Ooh, already?
Mario games are overrated.
No.
No. Wow.
Blake and Chris say Mario games are overrated. Ricky and I say no.
Go ahead, Blake.
Go ahead, guys.
I'm not much of a Nintendo guy. I've
Ooh.
like
Nintendo's overrated.
yeah.
Let me just take this away.
A little too far there, Blake.
A little bit too much.
I don't know. I've never really like finished a complete Mario game. Like even like on the DS, like I loved my DS. Like that might have been the only Nintendo like system that I loved, and I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't even finish it.
Coming in hot.
Didn't even finish it.
Now, Chris, wearing a Super Mario All-Stars hat. Explain yourself.
I have not had as much interest to play Mario games as of recent. I know Super Mario Wonder came out.
Oh, it's great.
Mario RPG. I have no desire to play them. Now, if Zelda drops, I'm all about Zelda. I honestly would make the case, in my opinion, that Mario has been dethroned. And I would say Zelda is a much higher. And I wonder what the numbers are on the games that have actually come out.
Yeah.
But for me, this is a personal opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like Zelda drops. I can't wait for Zelda to come out. Mario, I don't know. I ended at Super Mario World, and I'm like, never went. I don't know. I lost me after that.
Ricky, what's your thoughts?
Dude, Super Mario World, that's all I have to say. Dude, Mario games are too good. They're so fun. Blake, have you ever played Super Mario World?
like maybe a little bit, but then I was like,
Mario 64. Mario 3.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Ricky's just like trying to do an encyclopedia.
Let me say this. I can't think of another franchise in existence. I'm going to argue that he's one of the best game series of all time. Not even just that he's overrated. I can't think of another video game franchise where you could pick any of the mainline games and it's not an A game. Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, Mario 64, Mario World, Mario All-Stars, Yoshi's Island.
Your favorite Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey, Mario 64. Every single one of those games is an A game, in my opinion.
Super Mario World to me is the best Mario game in my opinion. But
it's one of the best platformers in history.
Such an incredible game, so I can't deny that.
Yeah.
I just think now with the new Mario stuff, it just doesn't appease to me as much.
That's all right. No, hey, that's what this is for.
Yeah.
We agree and you disagree.
But you're wrong. Just kidding.
Badong.
All right, we're going to go into our second one. It's another gaming related. It's going to be open world games are the worst.
The worst.
Agree or disagree? So we already got two disagrees.
I'm going to disagree because I don't. I'm going to disagree because I don't think they're the worst. But I don't. I'll get into that. Go ahead, Ricky. I'm going to disagree.
Oh, does this mean I have to agree?
You
No.
have to agree, Ricky.
I'll disagree. I don't play them enough. I don't know enough.
I love open world games. They're my favorite style of game.
Oh, they're his favorite.
Yeah, they're my favorite. Have you seen the New World PAL game? I mean, new game,
Pal World?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they're getting like sued or something now already.
Who cares? It's so fun. It's so fun. What game can you do a 360 no scope on a Pokemon and then also capture one?
That is pretty cool.
What is that game
does sound
about?
fun.
I'm not even familiar.
It's like a bootleg Pokemon.
Yeah.
But like there's like a 3D like building aspect to it. Like you can like build a house. It's kind of like Rust
Roblox?
and Pokemon mixed together. It's awesome.
I will say I do like open world games, but I do not have the time to get into them anymore. Every time I play them, I feel like within an hour, I'm like, I'll never play this again because I love it, but I know I cannot possibly get to an end point.
I get sucked
Too much
into
to
it.
do.
I get sucked into it.
Yeah, I need my platformers with a linear end point.
I mean, when you consider like Tears of the Kingdom, like
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
open world, right?
it's more
But
sandbox.
that has an end. Yeah, like I guess is PAL like sandboxy, like Roblox, kind of like
It's kind of like a
that's what I
GTA.
keep thinking
Yeah.
of.
it's like GTA.
Yeah,
Is it just
yeah.
like just
Okay.
play
Like GTA,
forever?
you can do whatever you want kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not my
So
favorite.
Zelda would be.
Yeah, I mean, I like those games.
Yeah,
They are
'cause-
lengthy though.
Like
Because I
Red
think
Dead
on Zelda,
Redemption.
Yeah, Red Dead.
Yeah, Red Dead.
Red Dead is
Oh,
awesome.
Red Dead's so
That's a good
good.
open world
That's a
one.
good one.
That
So
is
good.
so fun. It is so good.
But you know, it's funny. Like I noticed how quickly just now I said yes, like when you said Red Dead, but it's almost because it's when I had more time.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing it when I had time to play it. But like
It does come down to time with those.
Like,
I
I
don't
ge-
play them as much.
I genuinely don't think I'll play like the new Grand Theft Auto because I just know that I can't have time.
I'll get
Not gonna
lost in
happen.
the sauce.
Oh, I'm going to
dude.
get lost.
yeah, I will too. With the open world, I have to pick them like few and far between.
You have to.
Like, because they're like 200-hour time commitments.
I don't have that. Put that time into SoCal.
All right, we're gonna go on to our next one. It's gonna be collecting VHS is better than collecting games.
No. Disagree.
From me and Ricky. Blake says yes.
Oh man,
Chris, you have a game
agree
store.
with this.
Retro Games Plus is your store name. SoCal Gaming
Retro
Expo.
VHS.
Okay, so the white side of the room votes VHS is better to collect. All right, Blake, let's hear it.
I love movies. I can watch movies for hours on end because that's when I'm listing. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching movies, and on VHS, there's movies that I still have never seen before or even heard of. And when I show someone, they're like, "What?" You know what I mean? I love watching that kind of stuff.
Just now when we were at your car, you showed me like 4 VHS. I've never seen it. I collect VHS.
Tiptoes. It's a VHS that sells for $50.
Blake, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh Lord, The Goonies.
Oh, Lord of the Goonies.
Yeah, The Goonies. I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
That's my
Great
classic
choice.
childhood movie.
Dang.
Why do you think VHS are better?
Just as of recent, for a lot of the reasons you said too, is I come across a lot of VHS and I'm just like, what on earth is this? And I'm so intrigued. I don't come across as many games that I'm like, what is this? I need to go play that right now. Maybe I've either seen gameplay or we've talked about it or I've come across it before. But we come across the strangest, craziest VHS.
Yeah.
And when we're doing like the, picking and stuff like that, how many do I take away that I'm like, I need to watch this. I need to watch this. I
So
need to
many.
watch this.
So
a lot.
many.
And so just for that reason.
So you open world VHS then? Like, so you spend
Yes.
all your time on that?
Sandbox VHS. No, I get that. I do agree, obviously, that there is so much more, at least, that we have never heard of. You could show me a stack of 100 VHS at the swap meet, and I'd probably never heard of a good 10 of them. But if you gave me a stack of video games, I get that aspect. I'd probably be like, I know every single one of them. For the most part. There's those like hidden ones that sneak in here and there.
Yeah.
Ricky, any thoughts? Or
I just feel like when I'm doing video games, I'm collecting my childhood, but I guess that could go for VHS too. But
yeah,
I don't know. The kid in me always wants the games. That's what it's all about.
I love both, so that's a hard.
I love both as well.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, I found it interesting. Riff sent me a message the other day, and it was like the music of just like a random game. What was that game?
Dude, we got to pull this up at some point. Nobunga's Ambition 2 on the NES. Like one of the dumbest, like random games, one of the worst games on the NES.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a playlist there of like random NES music, and I'm like sitting there doing a thumbnail, and I'm just like, what is this like godly, heavenly, beautiful music? And I'm like, Nobunga's Ambition 2? Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. But the soundtrack was just so beautiful. And it is moments like that where you discover, like, man, I've heard people talk about underrated soundtracks. There's the Pictionary soundtrack, which is underrated. But that one, I'm like, I've never heard a soul in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up at some point while you guys were doing the next one. And then
No,
play it.
I'll just make sure I'll put it in right now. And then I'll put it in right, and then I'll go on to the next
I could do the easy work and just stick it up to here if you want. I'll look it up while we're going. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go on to our next one. It's going to be games should let you demo their games before, like they did like on Toys R Us and game stores. So like games should let you demo their games without having to buy it and actually like physically play it first.
In store?
In store or even at home.
What about the demo discs? Yeah, I like the demo discs.
Anything. Like realistically, just like instead of like you have to buy it first and then realize what it is. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, you can go up to a kiosk and play it.
I'm not letting you talk.
Isn't this the graduation song?
I was going to say that pomp and circumstance. It's pretty
so
good.
good.
That
Yeah.
is good.
That is really good.
Now,
pretty
Bunga's got some
soothing.
good music.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that hit me. I was almost like, I feel nostalgic, and I've never even played the game.
That is pretty good.
All right, I had to throw it in there.
No, it's fine. All right, so back to that. It's games should let you demo their games either in store or at home or even by playable discs like they used to.
I'm gonna say no. Blake says yes. Chris says no.
I'll say yes because I do miss doing that.
Why don't you talk first, Ricky? You're the
All right.
quiet one. George Harrison. You're the George Harrison of the group.
I am the George Harrison of the group. I don't know. I feel gypped a lot of times when I buy a game and it's just horrid, like the dumbest thing. But I do see it in their point of view because if they have a cruddy game, they're like, dude, let's not show anything about this. Let's just make it really interesting online, and that's it. But I want to feel the game. Like I've played games where they look amazing, but once you actually use the controller for it, it's the worst game. I'm like, this
You realize you were watching a cutscene?
Yeah,
You're
pretty much.
No, that's not the actual game. What's your thought? You disagreed with me.
I disagreed because, well, I haven't bought a game at like launch in a long time.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm buying games, I feel like it's been out, and I just go to YouTube and I just look at gameplay, and I'm like, that's either a game I would like or I'm not going to like. So I don't necessarily have to have the controller in my hand. I feel like as long as I can see the gameplay, I get a good gist for it.
Yeah.
So.
You know, another reason I'd want it, because I want to get that kiosk after they're done with it.
That is
Good old thinking of the collecting. I like it. Blake?
I don't know. When I was a kid, and I would get like the demo discs and like like the magazines or like because at PS2 you would get like the disc,
The jam pack, I think it was called?
you get the jam pack.
Yeah.
And
Underground.
And the
I
Underground,
loved
yeah.
it. That would make me go to the store and want to like purchase the full game, and like it was like I got to see what was coming out. You know what I mean? It was fun.
You know, when I used to get those demo discs, I actually despised them. I hated putting those in and then not having the full game and then getting to a certain point. And so I used to just toss those things. And even when they come into my store now, I see demo discs. I'm like, get that out of here. And now they're like, some of them are worth money. And I'm like, what? I could throw those out for years. But
I think they're awesome.
I'm like in the middle on it because I feel like, yes, you could get swayed away from. I feel like it's hard to know because some people will be into the game, some won't. So I don't know if you're like, if it evens itself out of like people who didn't like the game losing sales on that versus people who never would have bought it and gaining sales off that. So I feel like maybe it evens out, but I don't know. I also do, as much as I appreciate what demos are, I also sometimes try to think in the business mindset, like you can't try everything before you buy it, right? You can test drive a car. Yes, I get that, certain things, but like, I don't know, a house, you can even buy it a brand new build, but you can't live in it for a year before you know if it's settled as in right. You know what I mean? Or even food, right? You go to the store and, well, sure, I'll take number 2. And then you get it and it tastes like diarrhea. And you're like, well, I guess that's what it is. I bought it. Tastes like Curtis's cooking.
But make a better game, you know what I mean? That'd be like the craziest part. But we'll go on to our next one. It's going to be current comic books are garbage.
Uh-oh. Current comic books are garbage. I'm ready to hurt so many people.
Let's hear it. Let's see
Change
it.
the word current with all. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I don't read comics. I literally cannot answer. I'm putting my thing in
I
half.
can't.
No, what
answer.
are you, Dusty, with the car, man? What the heck is
I literally
that?
can't-
He changed
I
the
don't
game.
read comics.
Let me tell you how many comics I've read in my life. Maybe like 3 pages from like a Nintendo comic system magazine.
Maybe.
I don't read comics. I can't answer.
don't read comics.
Okay, me and Blake call it outsies.
Yeah.
Dang.
I disagree with this. I don't read hardly many comics anymore. When I was growing up, I did read a ton of comics. I am reading one now. I'm reading like the Spirits of Vengeance, the Ghost Rider series from the 90s again with like Danny Ketch and stuff. So I do enjoy reading comics. As far as new ones though, the only last series that I got into was the Michelangelo series that came out. It was like a solo Michelangelo. Yeah,
Okay.
TMNT. Yeah.
Oh, the Ronin.
Thank you.
Oh, Ronin.
And I did
That I
read
do know cool things about. Yeah.
I did read that. That came out maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was incredible. It was a story of basically Michelangelo. All the other turtles have been killed, and he's going after like Shredder solo now.
That's
And he's-
sick.
Is it
was
Ralph or
sick.
Michelangelo? I couldn't remember.
It was Michelangelo.
Michelangelo?
Right?
I thought it was
Yeah,
Ralph,
it's
too.
I
Michelangelo.
thought it was Ralph.
I thought it was Ralph too.
No, I'm like 99% sure. It's
No, I honestly.
I'll get Google out. You guys keep talking about your comics.
But other than that, like I see some of the comics that have come out. I know they just redid this was like I think 2000. Don't quote me on the year on this. Maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago. Like they had a new Robbie Reyes was the new Ghost Rider, so he came out. We see some of the newer ones come through, and they look pretty awesome to me.
They look cool. They're just not worth a ton. So I don't.
They're not.
I don't keep them in mind.
I love Blake. Not worth money. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, most of them are worth the garbage, dude.
Well, they were worth garbage when we were buying them back in the 90s and 80s too. So it might take another 20, 30 years. But to me, some of the ones that come out look pretty awesome. There was like Preacher was one that I saw recently came to the shop. I'm like, that looks pretty awesome.
You know what's interesting about the Wikipedia? It's just like in most of the things, it doesn't say which turtle. It just says a lone turtle, haunted by his hallucinations of his deceased brothers. But then there is a part where it says Mikey. Later on, it says Mikey catches up with April. So maybe
yeah,
that's,
it's Michelangelo.
maybe it's Mikey. Okay.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that.
I like the
storyline a
art
lot.
on it. I'm not a comic guy.
yeah, it
but
looks
I just have
awesome.
seen a lot of art, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, it was good. So from what I see, I'm a fan of some of the newer comics coming out, but I don't know if as many people are reading them because comic book stores have kind of been struggling recently. So unfortunately,
That sucks. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go on to the next one. It's going to be arcade systems are making a comeback.
Arcades are making well.
Agree or disagree?
I mean, you got 1-ups now.
You got
Yeah, I'll say yeah, they are.
I'm gonna say no, and everyone else says yes.
that's fine.
I feel like I heard a lot of talk about arcades like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm just going off literally by what I've just heard people talking about. I just feel like I heard a lot of talk around arcades like 3-4 years ago, and then I haven't in the last year and a half. I feel like it's just like I haven't heard anyone talk about arcade 1-up or I'm modding this, or I just feel like the conversations, maybe because we bought a couple 3-4 years ago, a lot of people talk about it around us and the conversation just kind of died. So I don't know if that's actually what the market's doing, but maybe you guys can.
No, I kind of agree with that too. There was a big hype, like there was so many barcades being opened up everywhere, and then there was the big arcade 1-up hype. Most recently, I was reading about them that they were kind of struggling. They came out with like a casino game, right?
Arcade 1-up did?
Yeah, they have like a Wheel of Fortune, and then it has like slots on it too.
Oh, dude, they play on
Nice.
the U.S.'s gambling addiction.
And
Wow.
they came out with like a tabletop board game, I think,
What?
like where you can play like 300 board games like on like a table.
But it's electronic?
It's
Yeah.
electronic,
Oh, that's kinda
which is a
cool.
cool idea.
Yeah.
But my guess is that
Blake's like crap, garbage.
my guess is that either obviously they have some licensing relationships, but they might have ran out of all the big titles like the X-Men's, the Turtles, the Simpsons, and then you start diving into like more obscure stuff, right? And I don't know if the market would be there for the more obscure stuff.
More obscure stuff is cool, and we would probably like the more obscure
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
but you're not going to sell to the general market of 40-year-old men who don't play games anymore, but they walk by and go, ooh, Pac-Man, and they buy it. You're going to lose those people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I
And
feel like that's where a lot of the big sales were. Is
Right, the big ones.
Walmart's.
Yeah, the huge,
regular
big
dudes.
titles.
Because I can't tell you how many, a few years ago, like I said, going to, meet one of my kids' friends from school, and I go to their house to pick them up, and the dad's like, hey, yeah, I got a Street Fighter 1-up back there. That's cool, but they're not necessarily a gamer. So like you said, I feel like if you're going to get into some of those, I don't know, what are some of the lesser loved titles
They're
out
for
there?
like man caves is what it's for.
I must have 12 arcade 1-ups in my house.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, you do. I
do
forgot
have
about
I
that.
have a lot.
What's
My
your favorite
family
one?
loves them.
What's your favorite one?
Oh, it's got to be Terminator.
Oh,
Judgment Day.
nice.
That's the gun one, right?
Yeah, the gun has kickback to it too. It's really cool.
I was going to say, how is the gun one?
It's
with,
good. It's really good. They feel light. Obviously, they're a lot lighter than the ones at the arcade.
They
But
will kill your back.
yeah, but it's really fun.
I love that the youngest
good.
one here is like the full arcade guy. I love
Yeah,
that.
my family loves buying them too. I think we have 3 more on the way, or
Nice.
something. I think my mom
Awesome.
got Dig Dug. I think she got the Killer Instinct one,
Wow.
and then
I love Killer Instinct.
I think she got the Turtles one. If I'm
The 4-player one.
The Toidles.
Dang.
Nice.
There is a new company. The only thing I've seen most recently is there's a company called Unico. I think it's UNICO.
Huh?
And they created candy cabs similar to like what Arcade 1-up has done.
Which is a style of cab.
Yeah, they're like the Japanese.
Yeah.
They don't come preloaded with games, but they're basically in the style. And I think you can insert like an SD card. I'm not sure on all that, but those are pretty awesome. Those just dropped like last month.
I
Did
still
you
need to
see
get
it?
one of those. No.
They look pretty sick. Have you seen them though?
I think I know. Is it the one they kind of look like Astro City ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
I need an Astro City one.
Yep.
They look exactly like Astro Cities. They're pretty awesome looking. We were trying to get them to SoCal, actually. We reached out to them.
No word back.
They're in Kansas.
This is your chance.
Yeah.
They're in Kansas City, so it's a long way for them.
Wow.
But they were interested.
I just
Awesome.
I just sold an arcade 1-up yesterday, funny enough. But the guy, shout out, his name's Freddie, he watches the podcast. Funny enough, literally I had on OfferUp, I had an arcade 1-up, and I'm responding to the guy, and he's like, random question. You kind of talk like this guy Riff. And I was like, oh, that's me. So he might help me out with like a mod. I might get one modded. Do you have any modded of them?
No.
You just play them straight.
You know what? One of mine never worked. I still haven't gotten a replaced.
Which one
My
is it?
Buck Hunter. I got a Buck Hunter one. Never worked out of the box.
That's a
Said
fun
it.
game.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. The guns would not calibrate, and I contacted them, and like I always forget to respond like back to emails, and they're like, "Oh, like you can return it," but that was like 6 months ago. So
That's always the bummer about stuff like that. It's like, no, you can return it, no worries. But that's where they get you because 90% of people aren't going to want to put an arcade one back in a box and somehow get all this.
oh my god, the shipping on that thing must be so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they would cover it, but again, even just the work of putting it back,
Put it back in a
you almost
box,
feel like, hey,
yeah.
pay me for my time if I do that.
Now
And give me it.
Chris, you have like older arcades. How difficult is it to find somebody that knows how to work on the mechanics of those things?
Arcade machines are actually pretty simple machines. Like the older ones, you really only have like 4 pieces to them. You have a CRT TV, you have the boards, you have a power supply, and then you have the chassis, which basically connects from the board to the back of the CRT. They're big. They look like there's a lot in there, but there's really only 4 pieces, so they're not too difficult. But as far as like changing out chassis is a real pain. Changing out monitors is a real pain. Power supply is not too difficult. Boards are pretty easy. But like pinball machines, oh my gosh, forget it. They are
I saw you on your story the other day. You were working on
I fixed
one.
that Street Fighter 2 pin. I know. I got the car. There's a car smash feature in the Street Fighter 2 pin.
Pinball?
How many
Yeah.
hours did you put on? I forgot what it said.
Oh my gosh, I was working. I started at 9 a.m, and I think I got it working by like 5 or 6 in the afternoon. I dedicated my whole day to that. It was actually pretty fun working on that pinball machine.
Wow.
I am as basic as it gets with pinball machines, and miraculously, you were there when I bought the thing.
What did you pay?
3,500. Yep. But it's there was only 2 video game pinball machines. There was a Mario and there was a Street
What is
Fighter.
it, Gottlieb?
Gottlieb made both. Yeah.
Dang.
You could rack your brain trying to think of another video game pinball machine. There's none.
Wow.
None ever came out.
What's your favorite pinball machine?
Black Knight 2000.
Mine's Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone's good too. Yeah, Black Knight 2000. You like music. Check out Black Knight 2000 sometime.
That's sick.
Oh, it has the best audio of any pin
Really?
ever. It is so good. That's why I love it.
Audio and pinball machines are so
Oh, the
fun.
audio is the best ever.
All right, guys. If you guys haven't got your tickets yet at SoCal Gaming Expo, I want to say be there for June 8th and June 9th of this year. And I'm telling you right now, the tickets will be available until the date of the event.
yeah.
Vendors too. We still have vendor booths. Blake's vending.
Yeah.
Are you
Let's
there?
go.
Yeah.
And I've been putting them in our description for the link. So, guys, just go get them. It's going to be fun. You're going to have all this for there. So,